Hello, this is Ruth Hollingshead, trustee for Site for Wight, welcoming you to this week's Talking News.
Site for Wight news for Friday the 3rd of April 2020.
Welcome from Chris
and Brian.
We are reading articles from the county press. Making a noise for amazing NHS. Grateful Islanders in isolation showed their appreciation for frontline NHS staff amid the coronavirus epidemic by applauding from their windows. The Clap for NHS event filled the island streets on March the 26th with the sound of residents expressing gratitude for the frontline staff pushing through the COVID-19 crisis. John Brodie, Pipe Major for the Isle of Wight Highland Pipes and Drums, said, "I live in Calbourne and the village was planning to take part in clapping." Separately, pipers around the world were encouraged to play Amazing Grace, which members of the group took part in from their homes. After I'd finished playing, all the residents cheered and clapped from their homes in support of our NHS and key workers who are doing everything to keep us safe and well during this difficult time. Islander Tia Taylor wrote on Facebook, "Just wanted to say an amazing well done to New Road in Lake for the amazing people who stood outside and applauded and cheered our amazing NHS and all key workers. I salute you." Cyril Daish wrote, "I live in the Fairway at Lake and at 8 p.m. I went outside the front door to give a clap for the wonderful NHS. Everybody in the road was clapping loudly. I could not resist blowing a couple of trumpet fanfares, which was greatly appreciated. What a marvellous atmosphere."
Story time across the ages. An Isle of Wight care home embraced National Storytelling Week when it invited preschool children to share their mutual love for books and stories. The children of Windmills, Bembridge, shared their favourite book, The Tiger That Came to Tea, with the Inverhouse residents. The hosts returned the favour, reading the children a story of their own and sparking a discussion as guests and visitors recalled and championed their favourite childhood books. While there were many titles pitched, Paddington Bear emerged the firm favourite. It was fabulous to watch the two groups interact, and each was enthralled by the other's story, said Inverhouse manager Sarah Woodford. Initiatives such as the National Storytelling Week provide a platform for people of all ages to come together, benefiting both the young and the old. The event happened prior to lockdown.
Sandown named a lucky town. Sandown is the second luckiest place to be in the UK, according to new research into how often people win on betting across the UK. Research conducted by online betting giant Paddy Power found Sandown is the second most frequent location for winners on their bets. The research, which looked at the main jackpot wins on the games played on Paddy Power Games website, find a higher proportion of players from St Andrews in Scotland claimed the big prize than any other place in Britain, but Sandown came in a close second. As many as 2.54% of people in Sandown won a Paddy Power jackpot, according to the firm's statistics. The statistics also found the unluckiest towns in Britain to be Rochdale and Worcester.
Bikeability kids took on Coppins Bridge. Year 6 pupils took part in a Level 3 Bikeability cycle proficiency course aimed at riders ready to take on busier roads and negotiate more complex junctions and multi-lane traffic. Pupils from Wootton Bridge Community Primary School successfully navigated some of the island's more challenging roads, including Coppins Bridge in Newport. The training was run as part of the Department of Transport's Bikeability funding managed by the Isle of Wight Council and carried out in schools by partner Shift It. Ross Edmonds, Shift It project manager, said, "It is important to give our children the training required to travel independently and as safely as possible to and from school. This becomes even more important when they transition from primary to secondary school." Head teacher Jane Wilford said, "We are constantly seeking ways to promote active travel to school and we're delighted to have further training for pupils."
Rough sleeper numbers reduce. The number of rough sleepers on the Isle of Wight dropped from 24 in 2018 to 11 in 2019, according to the Isle of Wight Council. The local authority said there was still more to do because one homeless person is too many. An official count was made over one night in November, the same month the island's winter shelter opened its doors. Charity Homeless Link confirmed the figures to be a 54% reduction compared to the previous year. The Isle of Wight Council said that has now reduced further to 5 in January 2020. Overnight facilities for up to 25 rough sleepers opened in Newport in November. Normally the shelter would close in March. However, secured funding means it will be open for longer and will offer extended facilities. Councillor Claire Mosdell, Cabinet Member for Adult Social Care, Public Health and Housing Needs, said, "One person sleeping rough is one too many. Rough sleeping is the most dangerous form of hopelessness. It is dangerous, traumatic, isolating, and it kills. Homelessness is everyone's business, but together we can end this. The journey is only just beginning." More than £70,000 has been invested in the former Barton Primary School site, and the Isle of Wight Council is partner in an innovative scheme including Housing First. In January, County Hall secured £288,700 from the government's Rough Sleeping Initiative. Jamie Brenchley, Isle of Wight Council Service Manager for Housing Needs and Homelessness, said, "This data provides the evidence that what we are doing on the island is working. There is still much we need to do. We are beginning to make change possible for people who have found themselves with no other option but to sleep rough on our streets."
From one rock to another. An Isle of Wight police constable and his retired colleague will be travelling to the top of the Rock of Gibraltar to raise money for two island charities. Adam Hinckley and retired police inspector Kate Foles will take part in a charity motorbike ride raising money for cardiac risk in the young, CRY, and the Ellen MacArthur Cancer Trust, EMCT. Later in the year, they will depart from the Culverhaven pub, located on the island's very own promontory, to make their way to the top of the rock. Dubbed from one rock to another, the journey comprises a staggering 2,500 miles, taking the pair through France, Spain and down to the Gibraltar Rock, where they will meet with local police. The pair will spend approximately 2 weeks in the saddle and will hand over a Hampshire Constabulary plaque before heading home. We're funding the event ourselves, but looking to raise as much money as possible for two great causes, said Adam, who has been with the force for 16 years. A number of years ago, my wife Lucy, who now works for the EMCT, lost her brother to an undiagnosed heart condition. Every year since, her family has raised money for the charity CRY, so this has inspired me to do my bit. We have had incredible support from Brittany Ferries, Whitelink and other businesses. Adam said, "We've raised more than £1,000 so far and we're aiming for 2,000. The pair have a Just Giving page for donations.
And now it's goodbye from Chris.
And Brian.
And we hope you are all well and stay safe.
Hello, Ruth again. A very quick update from the Macular Society just to say that although there may be delays in injections and ongoing treatment, eye clinics are working hard to assess and prioritise people, and you will be called back for your treatment. The other thing you may notice is if that you usually have Lucentis injections, you may find you are given Eylea. This is because it is longer lasting and there will be a longer period of time between injections. If you are worried or concerned, please contact the Macular Society on 0300 3030 111 for advice, support and their telephone counselling service.
If you or anyone you know is affected by sight loss, then please call Sight for Wight on Isle of Wight 52205. We are here to offer free help and support. From the West Wight Sports and Community Centre website. Throughout the outbreak, West Wight Sports and Community Centre will be acting as a hub from which they can coordinate volunteer efforts to support their local community who may be isolating. A partnership of organisations and local groups are coming together offering help. Adam Tucker, Community Connector, explains.
Normally, I would be out in the community helping people find ways to become more involved and to build their idea of a good life. Since the coronavirus outbreak, things have changed, and here in West Wight, we have created a hub in partnership with West Wight Sports and Community Centre, Churches Together, the local parish and town councils, and other local organisations. We're incredibly lucky to have a fantastic community here who have stepped up to offer support to others who are isolating during this time. Through our team of volunteers, we are able to offer help and support in the following ways: collection of essential prescriptions, delivery of essential food items for those most vulnerable, hot food delivery from the cafe here at the centre, meals of £5 each and can be paid for over the phone, and regular phone contact for those who are isolated. So, how does it work? We are linking people up who need urgent support and then arranging for a longer term link with the same person or another volunteer who can stay in contact and be supportive during this uncertain period, either over the phone or ensuring they continue to get essential supplies. Since March the 23rd, we have had over 200 requests for help and over 230 people sign up to offer help in the community. So how to get in touch? If you live in Freshwater, Yarmouth, Totland, Thorley or Wellow, we can help. To get help or to volunteer, you can make contact in the following ways. Phone 01983 752 168. Email help@westwight.org.uk or go to our website www.westwight.org.uk/coronavirus. We are also sharing information online through our Facebook page. Search West Wight Sports and Community Centre. There you will find updates on our support hub, plus lots of useful information from national guidance and advice, information from across the island, plus details of businesses still offering home deliveries and posting updates to the opening hours of local pharmacies. To recap, if you live in Freshwater, Yarmouth, Totland, Thorley or Wellow and need help or are in a position to offer practical support or phone contact to someone in these communities, get in touch via 01983 752 168 or email help@westwight.org.uk.
And this is Jacqueline Gazard, trustee for Sight for Wight. From OnTheWight, a story about the artist in residence being sought for the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. Creative practitioners from all backgrounds and disciplines are invited to apply for the first Artist in Residence post. How can art change our economy for the better is the brief for an artist in residence with the Ellen MacArthur Foundation. Applications are open for an artist for the entire month of June 2020. Creative practitioners from all backgrounds and disciplines are invited to apply for the first Artist in Residence post. The Ellen MacArthur Foundation works with business, government and academia to build a framework for circular economy. Underpinned by renewable energy, the three principles of a circular economy are based on designing out waste and pollution, keeping products and materials in use, and regenerating natural systems. The Foundation appreciate that art and culture play a vital role in the creation of a future that's more inclusive and diverse, and distributed. They say, "We're looking to discover the links that connect a circular economy with artistic expression." For full details about the post and the application method, visit the Ellen MacArthur Foundation website. The closing date is 17th of April.
Hello everyone, this is Steve. A story now from the Isle of Wight news website, OnTheWight, and it concerns our MP, Bob Seely. The Isle of Wight's Conservative MP Bob Seely says the voluntary sector provides a really important role in making sure people are getting the help they need. The MP has paid tribute to the voluntary and community sector for its response in ensuring the most vulnerable are cared for during the COVID-19 outbreak. Bob said he was talking daily with representatives from the voluntary and community sector to find out what they are doing to help vulnerable people and to find out what support they need from the government. Bob said, "The voluntary sector provides a really important role in making sure people are getting the help they need. The whole community has really come together, as we often see on the island." He said the Isle of Wight Council was establishing a list of vulnerable people who needed help, and Community Action Isle of Wight were matching volunteers with organisations who needed help to manage the demand. Citizens Advice Isle of Wight had also been working with the Isle of Wight Council and were particularly focused on helping those struggling with debt and employment issues arising from the current situation. Bob said, "I am thankful for all the work the voluntary and community sector is doing, including town and parish councils and the proactive partnership approach they are taking to help islanders. I will be volunteering myself to help out where I can." The Chief Executive of Age UK Isle of Wight, Joe Dare, said, "We are very much working in partnership with the Isle of Wight Council and Community Action Isle of Wight on a joined-up response, and we are currently restructuring our workforce so that we can be as responsive as possible. We are looking to provide support with things like welfare checks, shopping and pet care." Bob Seely continued, "I was assured by the government that a package of support for the voluntary sector is coming forward soon. I welcome this. The voluntary sector needs government support to continue their valuable work."
OnTheWight reports that under the leadership of the Isle of Wight Council, during the COVID-19 crisis, all cross-Solent operators are working together to keep the island connected. However, sailings have been reduced and some suspended. Wightlink will suspend its Portsmouth Harbour Ryde Pierhead Fastcat foot passenger service from the last sailing on Monday the 6th of April until normal services can be restored. Wightlink will also be reducing its Portsmouth Fishbourne car ferry sailings to a 2-hourly service on one of its largest ships from 6 a.m. on Tuesday the 7th of April. Its Yarmouth-Lymington route was suspended on the 31st of March. These changes are being made because very few people need to cross the Solent at this time, and they also further minimise the dangers of COVID-19 spreading to Wightlink staff and into the community. Wightlink Chief Executive Keith Greenfield says, "We're sorry to suspend our Fastcat route and the reduced sailings between Portsmouth and Fishbourne. However, we're still able to transport all essential travellers and supplies to the Isle of Wight using one of our largest ships." Commuting islanders will be pleased to hear that Hover Travel plans to continue providing its high-speed service across the Solent. The Hover Travel service carries not only foot passengers, but is used by the Royal Mail and brings all the pharmaceuticals to the island. All cross-Solent operators are working together to keep the island connected and confirm that Wightlink's foot passenger tickets will be accepted on Red Funnel and Hover Travel. This includes rail tickets and season tickets. However, Neil Chapman of Hover Travel said, "Only travel if your journey is absolutely necessary. All the ferries are dedicated to keeping key workers and vital supplies flowing to the island. By cooperating, we are together maintaining robust and resilient links which can sustain the island through these challenging times. And we appreciate and sympathise with the difficult decisions that Wightlink is making and are offering our full support to a fellow ferry operator and close neighbour in Ryde. Essential travellers, including key workers who've pre-booked with Wightlink, including season card holders, will be able to use Hover Travel services with no additional fare payable and will also be able to use the Hover Bus for onward connections within Portsmouth. In addition, if required due to adverse weather conditions, Hover Travel tickets can be accepted at Wightlink's Portsmouth Fishbourne car ferry. Red Funnel has been working closely with the local NHS services to optimise a high-speed sailing schedule that coordinates with NHS workers' shift patterns as much as possible. Following these talks and taking into account greatly reduced customer demand, the new schedule will feature 4 early morning and 5 evening sailings. The schedule will operate an hourly service from 6:15 a.m. to 9:15 a.m. and then in the evening from 5:15 p.m. to 9:15 p.m. But do check online for changes. The new schedule will come into effect on Saturday the 4th of April. Conservative Isle of Wight MP Bob Seeley said, "The ferry companies have now downsized to a skeleton service due to a very significant drop in demand for their services. I've had questions from some islanders asking why visitors are still coming to the island. Apart from a very few isolated cases, they are not. We do, however, need a skeleton ferry service to ensure food and medical supplies can get to the island. We also need to make sure that key workers can come here to support the NHS and other vital services that keep people alive and safe."
This is a story from the Isle of Wight news website OnTheWight, and it concerns Independent Arts, which is launching an online session to continue support for Isle of Wight communities. Independent Arts will be running virtual anxiety cafe sessions via the chatting app Zoom and are planning to start virtual Sing About next week, with virtual dance makers sessions coming very soon. Isle of Wight charity Independent Arts is used to delivering workshops to communities and residential homes across the Isle of Wight as part of their programme to improve health and well-being using the arts. Government regulations to prevent the spread of COVID-19 have stalled their work, but not for long. The team of staff and practitioners, supported by their team of volunteers, began planning how they could do things remotely to help reach some of their participants. This has involved looking at how technology can bring their practitioners to the people who need them most. Operations Manager Hannah Griffiths says, "From the day that the new government regulations came into place to ask those who were vulnerable to self-isolate for 12 weeks, we started planning ways we could reach those who would be stuck behind closed doors for many weeks. It's taken us a bit of time, as we wanted to make sure that our workshops continue to be as good quality and as accessible as always." Hannah went on to explain, "We are pleased to announce that we are now running virtual anxiety cafe sessions via Zoom. We are planning to start virtual Sing About next week and virtual dance makers sessions very soon. Our care home workshops are also going digital, with our practitioners being beamed from their home into the care home. We are also putting daily content on our YouTube channel, including poems, talks and songs that anybody can watch and enjoy. Everyone is welcome to come to the virtual sessions. To find out more about them or to book a place, you can call 01983 822 437 between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m, or you can visit the Independent Arts website, which is on independentarts.org.uk.
From OnTheWight, all profits from the Isle of Wight Festival special edition t-shirts to help islanders. The Isle of Wight Festival has released a special edition t-shirt to raise funds for Wight Aid, the charity supporting a number of organisations on the Isle of Wight. All profits from T-shirt sales will be distributed by WhiteAid to charities tackling food poverty, domestic abuse and assisting those experiencing social isolation on the island. Festival organisers wanted to offer the support of the Isle of Wight Festival family to the island community, despite the 2020 event not taking place. Jeff Underwood, founder of WhiteAid, said, "We're extremely grateful that the Isle of Wight Festival family have joined us at this critical time. The COVID-19 crisis is affecting the island community in many unfortunate ways, and their support to our crisis fund will ensure the most critical charities get the support they need. A big thank you to Isle of Wight Festival." Festival organiser Caroline Gidding said, "The Isle of Wight Festival is proud to support WhiteAid and the wonderful work they do in raising much needed funds for the vulnerable within the community. We hope people will buy the T-shirt to help this charity initiative, and we look forward to seeing everyone again in 2021. The special edition T-shirts, with all profits going to WhiteAid, can be pre-ordered now from the Isle of Wight Festival shop. For more information on WhiteAid, visit the website."
This story comes from the OnTheWight Isle of Wight news website, and the headline reads, "Free entrance for Isle of Wight NHS workers to rescheduled county show." The county show's chairman said it celebrates everything that is good about the Isle of Wight, and they hope this offer is a fitting tribute to the work being undertaken by the island's NHS staff. The island's Lord Lieutenant Susie Sheldon today announced that all NHS workers on the Isle of Wight will be welcome to attend the next county show free of charge. The first show was held in 1833, and during its long history, the county show has taken place during many different and challenging times. After a period of decline, it is now the largest one-day event in the island's event calendar. Susie Sheldon said, "I'm delighted to be able to make this announcement and to take the opportunity to recognise all the hard work and dedication of the NHS team on the island. We owe them a tremendous debt of gratitude. We all need to work together for the safety of all members of our community. I would ask everyone to look out for the vulnerable and those in need. We are privileged to live on a beautiful island, and however difficult the next few months may be, I believe we will re-emerge at the end of it as a strong, caring community." The county show was recently postponed until 30th of August, in the hope that the current restrictions will have been lifted and the island will be able to safely come together for a right rural celebration. Graham Biss, the county show chairman, said, "When the time is right, the county show team of volunteers are determined to hold this year's show. We hope that it is something everyone can look forward to as we emerge from the current challenges. The show celebrates everything that is good about the island, and therefore we hope this offer is a fitting tribute to the work being undertaken by the island's NHS staff."
If you or anyone you know is affected by sight loss, then please call Sight for Wight on Isle of Wight 52205. We are here to offer free help and support.
Hello, I am Lisa, the Finance Officer at Sight for Wight. I'd like to talk to you about a few financial matters. 1. Mortgage payments. Most mortgage providers are offering 3 months payment holiday and are making the process take just 2 minutes to complete. Please contact your own mortgage company and see what they are offering. Number 2. Self-employed people. If you have been self-employed for 2 years and have had to stop work due to the coronavirus, you can make a claim. The claim will be 50% of your average profits over the last 3 years. Information is online at www.gov.uk. Number 3. Furlough employees. Your employer might have spoken to you about furlough. This is where your job is put on hold whilst you cannot work due to the coronavirus, and you will receive 80% of your wages paid by the government. If you have heard about this or are an employer and want further information, please visit www.gov.uk. 4. Retail, leisure and hospitality businesses on the Isle of Wight. The government are offering full business rate relief for the year 2021 and grants of either £10,000 or £25,000 to retail, leisure and hospitality businesses. Despite advertisements to the contrary, if you think you are entitled, you'd need to go online to the Isle of Wight Council website and make a claim. It is not automatic necessarily, so please do go online and make a claim through www.iow.gov.uk. 5. Finally, you can call the Isle of Wight Council and ask for your council tax direct debit not to be collected until June. This is a deferment, not a reduction in your council tax. If you need any help or advice, never hesitate to give us a call at Site for Wight on 5 22205. Thank you.
Hello, this is Susan, reading from the Isle of Wight Observer. Well, well, this old London jar has island connections. Shanklin man Dennis Murphy became inquisitive when he was given an old jar found in a well in the garden of a lake home. With an interest in the history behind old objects and where they came from, Dennis researched the words E&T Pink, London, which was engraved on the jar. He discovered it was almost certainly made in a factory in South London, probably in the 1800s, but by a strange quirk of fate it also has a strong island connection. In Merston, Fiona Pink is at the helm of Pink's, a small operation which makes jars of chutneys, chili jellies, pestos and peanut butters, with all her produce on sale at a number of island outlets, including Farmer Jack's at Arraton. Fiona's great-great-grandfather, Edward Pink, founded E&T Pink's in the 1880s in Bermondsey, South London, which was later taken forward by his son Thomas to become one of the most successful and dominant quality food producers of the Victorian and Edwardian times. E&T Pink was the largest manufacturer of jam in the world in 1894, with an average production of 40 tonnes per day. Pink controlled 1/12 of the British tapioca market. E&T Pink also claimed to be far the largest manufacturer of marmalade in the world by the late 19th century. The Bermondsey factory was demolished in 1935 and replaced by a housing estate. Dennis said, I used to go what I call bottling on the island when at low tide I would go down to a Pacific place on where I knew I would find old bottles and pottery. As it was very muddy, I would have a large pole with a nail on the end which I used to lean out and hook the bottles. I collected quite a few over time and kept a lot of them. The person who found the jar in Lake knew I did this and offered it to me by my interest in collection. Before the lockdown, I was hoping to contact Fiona Pink and offer to reunite her with the artefact. I thought she might appreciate this piece of family history. When the Isle of Wight Observer contacted Fiona on Dennis's behalf, she said, "This is wonderful find and a very kind offer to offer it to me. I look forward to meeting up with Dennis after the lockdown, as I only have two and not in such a lovely condition."
Hello everyone, I'm Howard Thomas and I'm reading to you from today's edition of the Observer newspaper. The first article that I'm going to read is by Susie Sheldon, who's Lord Lieutenant of the Isle of Wight, and it's called Our Amazing Community. There is no doubt as we face this invisible enemy, COVID-19, we are lucky to be living in our amazing island community. These are worrying and lonely times, but the work that's being done all over the island to look after the vulnerable and those in need is outstanding. I would urge everyone to join in the community effort. If you're isolating at home, pick up the phone and ring someone you know is on their own. Human contact is vital to us all. If you're out on your daily exercise, keep your distance, but wave and smile at those you see. We're all in this together. We have celebrated our NHS and care workers with our communal applause sessions, and these have been deeply moving. We cannot thank them too much. In addition, totally outside the NHS and care structure, local groups have appeared in every part of the island to care for their own communities, shopping, collecting prescriptions, providing vital services, and the speed with which these community support groups have been formed and services put in place has been an amazing example of an efficiency under pressure. The hours of voluntary service those involved are giving is truly magnificent. Our medical services, emergency services, Isle of Wight Council, service providers, local businesses, transport, and indeed all those who serve our community are continuing to work to get us through this period and are adapting to completely unprecedented circumstances. I thank them for the flexibility they're showing and their ability to adapt. Local businesses face a difficult time, but are working in any way they can to help. Locally produced food has never been so valuable, and I know the producers are doing their utmost to get it out to all sectors of the community. We can all help at this time by taking the responsibility to look after our own health in order not to put others at risk. Follow the guidelines and remember that at present that recommends 1 period daily exercise. Please use it wisely and responsibly. We are privileged to live on a beautiful island, and however difficult these next few months may be, what I am seeing in our community is inspiring. We'll emerge at the end of this as a strong, caring community.
Countryside rules in force. Social distancing and restrictions on movement announced by the government in a bid to prevent the further spread of coronavirus now apply to public rights of way and the countryside access network across the Isle of Wight. Many people still want to enjoy the countryside, especially now it is spring, especially for exercise. However, people must adhere to government rules and advice for the safety of all. Islanders are reminded that some people live in very close proximity to public rights of way, a common example being farmers and farm workers. Also, consider their need for social distancing. Treat each other with respect and be aware that some of these people may be in self-isolation because of illness or other vulnerabilities. The rules to adhere to are: only use your local public rights of way network for lawful access, which is to exercise once a day, and for routes to food shops or when essential for work. Do not drive or travel to sites, car parks. Keep 2 meters 6 feet spacing between yourself and others you may meet on the paths. Don't arrange to meet other families or form groups larger than 2 to share your exercise, walk or ride. Carry, use and take home all rubbish, including tissues and other health products. Although there's no evidence of human-animal transference of coronavirus, avoid contact with other family dogs and farm livestock as part of social distancing. People can continue to use the public rights of way network for exercise and essential journeys responsibly. But the best advice is to stay at home, protect the NHS and save lives. If you encounter any problems, email rightsofway@iow.gov.uk.
This article is called Roller Training Only for Young Harrison. Young Isle of Wight cyclist Harrison Hendy is trying to keep himself in trim during the enforced layoff from racing by combining training with schoolwork. Harrison, who is still only 10 years old, is a regular on the youth cycling circuit and normally spends most weekends on the mainland competing at events all around the country. The youngster, who is a member of the Isle of Wight Council's Talented Athlete Scheme and is supported by WhiteLink, enjoyed a highly successful season last summer, showing his exceptional ability in the saddle, often against riders older than himself. But for the time being, he's having to make do with roller training in the spring sunshine while brushing up on his English, among other subjects, and adhering strictly to the government advice to stay at home.
Online trips to Osborne and Carisbrooke Castle. English Heritage has highlighted 30 of its historic buildings, monuments and sites, including Osborne House and Carisbrooke Castle, available to visit online. The stories of 29 English heritage sites around the country, from Osborne and Carisbrooke to Chester's Roman fort on Hadrian's Wall, are brought to life and shared via the Google Arts and Cultural platform. English Heritage took the decision to close all its staffed historic sites and cancel all public events during this period. English Heritage Director Anna Evie said, "As we join together to meet the challenges of the coronavirus outbreak, we are all looking for ways to continue doing the things we love, while observing the necessary limitations of social distancing or self-isolation. English Heritage is offering everyone the chance to experience our historic sites from home and learn about them in new ways. We are proud to be guardians of more than 400 places around the country which together tell the story of England. Osborne House, take a 360-degree video tour of Queen Victoria and Prince Albert's palatial holiday home, including the Italian terraces with views over the Solent, which reminded Prince Albert of the Bay of Nepal, and the Indian-inspired Durbar room, designed to reflect Queen Victoria's position as Empress of India. Carisbrooke Castle has been a central place for power and defence on the Isle of Wight for over 1,000 years. During that time it has been a Saxon fortress and a castle of Norman conquest. Most famously, Charles I was held prisoner there during the Civil War, shortly before his execution. To experience for yourself, visit englishheritage.org.uk/skyscrape.
And finally from me, this is a letter from Chris Barringer of East Cowes called Foxy, Have You Been Framed? Dear Editor, while we're all struggling a bit with self-isolation, supermarket queues and delivery slots, this current situation does give us all time to sit and enjoy nature. Spring is on its way. There are buds breaking on the trees and blossom is bursting. It also seems that our planet and wildlife are taking a deep breath and enjoying the fresh air, less traffic and peace and quiet, no aircraft overhead, the roads are empty, the Solent is empty of sails, and there are no motorboats crashing around the Solent and Medina. We live in a residential area in East Cowes, not far from the Norris Castle and Osborne estates, so I've always enjoyed quite a range of visiting wildlife. Our small enclosed garden is full of birds and an occasional red squirrel, and we have nocturnal visits from foxes, badgers, hedgehogs, and a very handsome tabby cat. Wildlife seems to be increasing. Last week a neighbour found a pheasant on her patio, and we were woken in the early hours by 2 young badgers having a very noisy bundle in the middle of Hefford Road, before being disturbed and scampering off towards New Barn Road like a couple of naughty children. Interested in knowing what is currently visiting and digging up the borders, we occasionally put out a wildlife camera and have seen our various visitors enjoying the night time, but now we have a mystery. I put the camera out last week, tucked in the bushes in the back garden, went out next morning to find the camera had disappeared. We have a 6-foot fence, locked gates and no obvious access, so the only conclusion is that the fox has picked up the camera and taken it off over the fence and home. I've known foxes take shoes, gloves and even Wellington boots, but a camera seems a bit unlikely. We've searched the garden and checked with neighbours to no avail, so if anyone in the Hefford Road, Old Road, New Barn Road area finds a wildlife camera, please let me know. There could be some interesting Foxy home movies on it.
This is Chris Kane. We hope you have enjoyed this week's edition of the Talking News. I would like to thank staff, volunteers and trustees for their support, together with the Isle of Wight County Press, OnTheWight and Isle of Wight Observer. Special thanks must go to Kelvin Curry and Vectis Radio for making this broadcast possible. And just to reiterate, if you or anyone you know is affected by sight loss, then please call Sight for Wight on Isle of Wight 52205. We are here to offer free help and support. Stay safe.